You handle things. That's just who you are. When something falls apart, you're the one who steadies it. When someone breaks down, you hold them together. When a room falls silent, you somehow know exactly what to say. And somewhere along the way, people stopped asking if you were okay, not because they stopped caring, but because you never looked like someone who needed help. There's a kind of exhaustion that never shows up on your face. It hides underneath it. You give advice that changes people's lives, then go home carrying emotions you can't even put into words. You sit with people through their darkest nights, then spend your own lying awake, completely alone. Not because you don't have people. You do. But over time, everyone quietly came to the same conclusion. They've got it handled. And the hardest part? You helped them believe that. Every time someone asked, "Are you okay?" and you answered, "Yeah, I'm fine," before they even finished asking, you trained them. Every time you pushed your own feelings aside to make room for someone else's, you taught people that your needs could wait. Little by little, you stopped becoming a person in your relationships. You became the emotional foundation holding everyone else up. Like the walls of a house, no one notices them until they start cracking. And eventually, something inside you changes. A quiet resentment begins to grow, not toward anyone in particular, because no one intentionally hurt you. No one abandoned you. They simply kept accepting what you kept giving. And you kept giving long after it started costing you. Psychologists call this role identity fusion. It's when your identity becomes so tightly connected to being the strong one, the dependable one, the capable one, that you no longer know who you are without carrying everyone else. Before we go any further, there's something important you need to hear. This isn't a flaw in your personality. You weren't born this way. People don't become emotionally self-sufficient by accident. Usually, they learn it very young. Maybe you grew up in a home where someone else needed you to stay strong. Maybe vulnerability was ignored, or dismissed, or punished. Maybe you discovered that people appreciated you more when you were useful, and drifted away whenever you needed something yourself. So your nervous system adapted. It made an incredibly smart decision. It built a version of you that always seemed okay, because people don't abandon the person they depend on. At the time, that strategy protected you. It helped you survive. The problem isn't that you built it. The problem is that you're still living by those old rules, even though the danger that created them may no longer exist. Now let's look at what's happening inside your brain. Neuroscience describes something called identity consolidation. Over years of repeating the same behaviors, your brain starts wiring those behaviors into your sense of self. If being the strong one keeps earning love, approval, acceptance, or safety, eventually your brain stops seeing strength as something you do. It becomes something you are. And our brains protect identity fiercely. Anything that threatens it can feel surprisingly dangerous. That's why asking for help doesn't just feel uncomfortable. It can feel terrifying. As if admitting you're struggling might somehow erase the person you've spent your whole life becoming. Here's a simple way to picture it. Imagine your identity is a house, and strength is its foundation. Everything else sits on top of it. Your relationships, your confidence, your self-worth, even the way people see you. Now imagine someone asks how you're really doing. To your nervous system, that can feel like pulling a brick out of the foundation. like the whole house might collapse. So instead, you leave the brick exactly where it is and just keep adding more weight to the roof. Then wonder why everything feels so heavy. There's another psychological pattern at work here. It's called the competence signal. Without realizing it, your behavior teaches people how to respond to you. When you're always solving your own problems, always helping others, never asking for support, you silently communicate one message: I'm okay, I don't need anything. And people believe you, not because they don't care, but because they're responding to the signals you've been sending for years. That's how the trap quietly closes. The more capable you appear, the less support comes your way. Until one day, you feel completely alone, while surrounded by people who genuinely love you. So, how do you begin changing this? Not with productivity hacks, not with another morning routine, but with 5 small psychological shifts. Each one gently untangles the pattern you've been living inside. Step 1. Interrupt the automatic response. The next time someone asks how you're doing, don't answer immediately. Pause, even for 1 second. Notice how quickly the words, "I'm fine," try to escape your mouth. Before answering, actually check in with yourself. Ask, how am I really? That tiny pause interrupts an old habit loop and gives your brain the chance to respond honestly instead of automatically. And honesty doesn't have to be dramatic. It only has to be slightly more real than yesterday. Step 2. Practice receiving, not just giving. Start accepting small acts of kindness. If someone offers to help, let them. If someone says, "I've got this," don't immediately take it back. Just say, "Thank you." These tiny moments matter more than they seem. Every time you allow yourself to receive care, your brain slowly learns that accepting support isn't dangerous. It's simply human. Step 3. Separate need from weakness. Write this somewhere you'll actually see it. Need is biological. Weakness is a judgment. Every human nervous system needs connection. Our stress literally decreases when another safe person is present. That's not weakness. That's neuroscience. So the next time you catch yourself hiding a need, ask yourself one simple question. Is this actually weakness? Or is this just what being human looks like? Step 4. Name the pattern. Out loud. Choose one person you trust. You don't need to tell your entire life story. Just say something simple. I've realized I carry a lot by myself, and I'm trying to let people in more. That's enough. Sometimes one honest sentence opens a door that's been closed for years. Psychologist James Pennebaker's research has shown that putting emotional experiences into words reduces the mental effort required to keep carrying them silently. You don't need perfect words, you just need real ones. Step 5. Let relationships be uneven. Not every relationship has to be balanced every single day. Sometimes, you get to be the one who needs support, without immediately changing the subject, without apologizing, without trying to fix the other person in return. At first, it will probably feel uncomfortable, maybe even selfish. But notice that feeling. Don't run from it. That discomfort isn't proof you're doing something wrong. It's proof that an old identity is making room for a healthier one. Here's the idea that ties everything together. Your strength became a bridge you built years ago so people could reach you. But somewhere along the journey, you forgot to build the bridge back. That's all this really is. Not brokenness, not weakness, just a bridge that was only built in one direction. You don't have to stop being strong. You don't have to fall apart to prove you're human. You simply have to let people walk toward you sometimes, instead of always walking toward them. The people who truly love you aren't waiting for you to collapse. They're simply waiting for you to let them in. There's a version of you that's still dependable, still resilient, still strong, but no longer carrying the entire weight of the world alone. That version of you isn't weaker. It's simply more honest. Because real strength isn't measured by how much you can carry. It's measured by whether you're willing to let someone carry you. Every once in a while. You've spent so much of your life being the person everyone leans on. Maybe it's finally time to discover what it feels like to lean, too.